This video is going to be about some ways with different fruits to help your immune system, and it has to do with these cells called antigen-presenting cells, and they pretty much help the T cells to become activated. So if the antigen-presenting cells aren't functioning, then the T cells, they're not going to work, and then cancer cells are going to survive because they're going to go unchecked. There's going to be no T cells to fight them. But the main way antigen-presenting cells, or APCs in short, the way that they support T cells is that with the CD80 and CD86 expression. So the first fruit is kiwi, which is also a protease. And kiwi has vitamin C, polyphenols, carotenoids, and flavonoids. Vitamin C is also needed for zinc to be in a bioavailable form, so that zinc can boost the thymus, because that's where T cells are. That's basically the training camp for T cells. Vitamin C also boosts zinc for the thyroid, which is right here. The thyroid is needed for a thyroid hormone, which has many various effects on the body, which is actually beyond the scope of this video. I'll have to explain thyroid in a different video. But so basically, polyphenols in a kiwi, they modulate oxidative stress in APCs, promoting proper antigen presentation, which means that the APCs show the T cells where the cancer cells are. The next one is apple. Apple has quercetin, catechins, chlorogenic acid, and fiber. Quercetin can bind to zinc, because if zinc is excessive, it can lower copper, because there has to be a zinc-copper ratio balance. If zinc is too high, copper is too low, which means that iron can't be metabolized, which means that the red blood cells cannot deliver oxygen, which leads to hypoxia, and then cancer cells grow from hypoxia. So that's where quercetin comes in. If you have too much zinc, which can be too high in oysters. So polyphenols in apple are anti-inflammatory. This can prevent excessive APC activation, while also mildly enhancing CD80 and CD86 on APCs. Next is a banana, which is a dopamine. Also vitamin B6, which is what boosts magnesium. And then magnesium being boosted creates ATP for immune cells to fight cancer cells, because immune cells are a high energy demanding cell. Bananas might not be very good for APCs because of the high sugar content can actually reduce APC activation. So even though it doesn't help your T cells, I think it's still good to include in the video so that you know what to eat for your T cells and what not to eat. The next food is pears, polyphenols, flavonoids, and fiber. Polyphenols in pears prevents the dysfunction of APCs under stress, and they're a mild immunomodulator, but it can support normal CD80 and CD86 expression, so which makes them better than bananas, because bananas' high sugar content reduces the CD80, 86. So in pears, it's a mild boost in CD80, 86, but it's still better than bananas. Not that you should throw out bananas. The bananas, they also have boron, and vitamin D needs boron to work, which is beyond the scope of this video. Next one is peaches. They have vitamin C, carotenoids, and flavonoids. So vitamin C boosts zinc if zinc is too low, so that thymus can work.
Cells are the immune system's messengers, but T cells need CD80 and C86 to activate properly. Without them, immune response fails, leading to cancer metastasis. Time to clean up! Oranges boost CD80 and CD86 expression, enhancing immunity. This is how we fight cancer, naturally.
Vitamin C and carotenoids enhances APC maturation by raising CD80 and CD86. The next one is grapes, which has resveratrol, quercetin, and anthocyanins. So anthocyanins may support APC function. Also, resveratrol is immunomodulatory. If CD80, 86 is too high, then it can lower that. Next one is one of my favorites. It's papaya, and it has papain, vitamin C, and carotenoids. And papaya can actually cleave the CD86, so potential reduction in APC co-stimulatory signaling. So maybe papaya might not be good for T cells, or at least in the case of antigen-presenting cells. But papaya can It can lower STAT3 and raise STAT5. It can do that though. STAT3 is something that cancer cells thrive on. So papaya lowers STAT3, weakening cancer cells. And STAT5 is something that immune cells need to survive, to attack cancer cells. So papaya raises STAT5. But it does decrease CD80-86, so you might want to be careful with papaya. Next one is a watermelon, which has a citrulline, lycopene, and vitamin C. The citrulline boosts arginine for nitric oxide production. Nitric oxide directly attacks tumors to weaken them. As for the effects on APCs, lycopene and watermelon and vitamin C supports APC maturation, so a likely slight enhancement in CD80 and CD86. And the next one, and maybe the last one for the video, is oranges, which is one of my favorites. So basically they have vitamin C, like all the other foods, which can boost zinc if you're too low in zinc. Oranges have hesperidin and naringenin, which are anti-inflammatory. If CD80-86 is too high, it can actually reduce the expression of it. As for why it's too high, I'll have to explain that in a different video. So oranges likely boosts T cell activation, but does not make immune cells hyperactive, because that can actually be a bad thing. Because if immune cells are hyperactive, they start to attack tissues. So that's pretty much that's seen in autoimmunity, arthritis, hyperthyroidism, or thyroid disease. So oranges are a very multifaceted, multi-benefit fruit, which is why they're one of my favorite fruits. Oranges also reduce oxidized LDL in the heart, because basically that happens when oxidized LDL or cholesterol, there's too much in the heart, and then macrophages go in to attempt to get rid of them with phagocytosis, but then they turn into foam cells and then they create even more inflammation. So oranges helps with that too. I could cover more on oranges. I'll have to do that in a different video. Subscribe, leave any comments down below about your own knowledge of any foods that might help with CD80-86, and I'll see you in the next video.